Morning. Wakey, wakey. It's 8 o'clock. 8:00. Time to go. Who remembers what we call Thursday? Remember we renamed all the days of the week. Who remembers? Sarah's stretching. Sorry about that. So who remembers what we called the days of the week? Thursday. What is Thursday? I don't know. You know. I know you know. I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna wait till somebody answers. Got my bells this morning. Did not ground. I did not ground. I woke up at 7:15 or so. So jumped in the shower, threw a headband on. Gotta go. Time to go live. Sheila, good morning, love. So what do we call Thursday? Do you remember? A special name. So I went to Midtown Cava last night over on 39th Street in Westport and did some chair yoga. Felt pretty good about that. I've been wanting to get into yoga. I really have. And so it just kind of was the right place at the right time. And it was pretty good. It was, muscles. It was muscle work. And I was pretty surprised about how sore I was there for a minute. And it actually got hot, And I'm going to attribute that to a hot flash. I'm going to say I just had a monster hot flash. Oh, shoot. So did anybody catch Lunch Break with Luna yesterday on Christian Witches, Luna and Asta? Anybody catch Lunch Break with Luna? Her and I did tea leaf readings yesterday for a few hours. Oh my God, it was fun. I had such a good time. Energy was great. She is so smart. She's so so extremely gifted, and so knowledgeable. And she understands the whole concept of tea leaf reading, which is, I'd never tried it before until recently. And we did a little gathering and did a tea leaf ceremony, or a tea ceremony, and then had some tea leaf readings after that. Good morning, Karen. How you doing this morning, darling? Welcome. And so anyway, it's part intuitive, but it's also a matter of understanding the hemispheres of the cup, going for what's coming your way, what's getting ready to pass, what is in the near future, what the culmination is. So you do have to have a little bit of knowledge and understanding as far as how you hold the cup and what you're looking at, and the areas. Had no idea about that. And you do turn the cup upside down and empty out all the liquid, and then whatever leaves stay, what stays. However they fall, they fall. So she was picking all the right stuff, man. She was picking the right tea, and it had such a great flavor to it, a great smell, and her leaves would form a picture. And I could see the picture that she was looking at. I could see Japanese characteristics when she was suggesting Reiki to somebody. I could see a dragon with a heart, and I understood that that was a very protective symbol. She saw it and I didn't say nothing, because it wasn't my reading. I was just looking over her shoulder going, oh, I see that too. That's pretty cool. Yeah, so I hope I didn't bother her too much. And anyway, the tea leaves that she was getting in her cup were absolutely amazing. I mean, she was getting everything. Good morning, Caitlin. Good morning, T-Lab. Welcome. So I was very, very impressed with Kim's ability to read tea leaves. And I was so impressed on how they opened up to her and really, really showed themselves to her. And then she took the information that was given to her, and she gave the most accurate reading. I mean, it was very, very accurate. I was super impressed. super impressed. So, not so much with myself. I enjoyed doing it and I had a good time. And I think, though, some of my reading was looking at the leaves and getting an idea of what they were trying to show me, but I really think most of it was just intuitive. It was just connecting with them, just sending my spirit guide to connect. I really do. I really do. Because I wasn't getting the pictures that she was, and I wasn't getting as clear a message as she was. So, anyway, we did four apiece. And Julie Cole Guthrie popped in. She got a reading from me. So maybe she'll pop in today and tell me I was a little bit close. But it was kind of cheating because I know Julie Cole Guthrie, right? We should have read each other's, people. Never know. Maybe that would have made a difference. Let's pull a card. Let's do some postcards from Spirit by Colette Baron Reed. Feeling postcards this morning. So I went to my doctor yesterday. I have a thumb. My thumb is triggering really, really bad. And so you'll see me holding it weird sometimes just because it's very, very painful. I mean, it hurts. And he said that the tendon has wrapped around a bone right here. And so it's pulling it. And what's going on is like I don't have any range of motion anymore. That's as far as I can bend it. It hurts to bend it any further. And I don't have any strength. And my dexterity's gone. So, good morning, Caitlin Case. So, I'm going to go get a cortisone shot in it. Hopefully. That's what he did last time, and it was a good temporary fix. I'm down for a good temporary fix. I don't really want to have surgery, especially not hand surgery, especially not my right hand. But it's kind of looking that direction. Whatever it is, I'll live with it, but the thing is, it's been hurting for about 3 weeks. It took me 3 weeks to get this appointment yesterday. And my appointment was for 10:30. And easily I should have been in and out and at Kim's by noon because that's what time I had to be at Kim's. Man, I waited till like 10 after 11 before I even left out. They didn't even call my name yet. I wasn't even in the office. I wasn't in the room. I was in the waiting room. And I love my doctor. He's such a great doctor, but he is notoriously late. Notoriously late. And, which means that when he gets to me, he's going to make it up by spending extra time with me, and he really does. He spends time with the whole family. He loves the Zuris. And he loves all of his patients. What am I talking about? So, anyway, I went up to the desk. I'm like, look, I got to go. We got to reschedule. And she's like, oh, but you already paid. And I said, hey, credit my account. I'm good with that. I got to go. Schedule me another appointment, please. She said, oh, we can get you back there. And I'm like, no, you can't. I know, Doc. So I know, Doc. And I said, even if you got me back there right now, it's still going to be another 30 minutes before I see him. And then I'll be spending 30 minutes with him. I don't have that time. I got to go. And she said, but you already paid. Credit my account. This went back and forth. It really did. She was trying to talk Doc's nurse into getting me back there into a room and having him see me right now, like putting a chart in his hand and grabbing it and saying, see her, please. She got to go. And I looked at the nurse, and I so sweetly and so politely said, even if you got me back there in a room and you handed him my file and you hand brought him to me, I would still say no thank you. Schedule me an appointment. I know, Doc. It's going to be a while. So anyway, rescheduled the appointment grudgingly. And it was because it was going to mess up her books. Not bad. But don't you feel like your time is worth money when you go to a doctor? Like, you get paid so much an hour at your job, but your worth, your value is so much more than that. You hired your doctor just like you would hire a lawyer. If you have the opportunity. When I was younger, I realized that concept, that I hire and fire the providers in my life, my doctors, my attorneys. If you don't like your attorney, if he's doing a crappy job, you get another one, right? Same thing with the doctor. You don't just do what they say. Say why. You question. So I was interviewing doctors to see which one I wanted to have for my family doctor, because I didn't want to invest a bunch of time and money before I decided whether or not, and I didn't want something serious to occur in my life, or in my kids' life, or my husband's life, before we decided that he was a crappy doctor, right? And so I called him up to make an appointment, and they'd say, what do you want to be seen for? And I said, well, I just want to interview him. Oh, well, what are you interviewing him for? Well, for my family doctor. I want to see if he's a good fit. Well, ma'am, you don't interview the doctor. The doctor interviews you. And I'm like, no, no, that's not correct. I don't care who you are. If you've got the opportunity to interview your doctor, make a doctor's appointment, and if you have to have a reason, tell them you hurt your thumb. And then when you get in there, stick your thumb up and say, my problem is, number one, I need to know what kind of doctor you are. They do not like it. They get exceedingly offended. Every single one of the doctors that I interviewed got exceedingly offended that I would take their time to do something as frivolous as interview them and question their authority. Well, you know what? Question authority every time. Make sure that it's right for you in everything that you do. Make sure that it fits and it goes with your spirit, because if you're doing something that's against your spirit, that's when you start feeling guilty. That's when the depression comes in. That's when the sadness comes in. You know why? It's not because you're doing something wrong. It's because you're going against spirit. Not only your personal spirit, but the Spirit of God. And it does convict you. If you're in darkness right now, ask yourself why, and look at your life. What are you not doing? Because you can say, I'm not doing anything. Oh. Really? 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 Not. You're not doing anything. Good morning, Joe. I really believe that time, just time in general, the moving forward time, the creating time, the producing time, the time for light and love and laughter and peace, it's almost done. It's almost over. And it's just about time to get to work. If it's not, I guess I would say personally, I believe it's time to get to work. It's past time. We're overdue. But mostly, times are changing so fast that we really don't know what one storm system is going to bring, and then the next. Serious. Don't you feel like that? There was a storm here yesterday, and it wasn't a bad storm. We didn't get a bad storm. But I bet people caught hell east and south of us. Were you on with me just for a few minutes in the morning? It went on for about 5 minutes, and I just showed a storm that was coming through. The clouds were really kind of spooky, amazing. It looked like an ocean that was just in turmoil. Just waves crashing everywhere. That's what the sky looked like. So, really, and you hear about these hailstones that are getting, the size of this big, 8-pound hailstone? 8 pounds? You hear about the hailstone that hit Guadalajara, Mexico? It hailed 6 feet of hail. And it wasn't big hailstones either. You think, okay, my God, that's boulders crashing down. They were probably golf ball size. But those golf ball size hailstones stacked up to the driver's door of an 18-wheeler, a rig. The driver's door. The tires were buried. Entire cars were buried, and all you could see was just a little hump on each side of the road. I'm serious. I saw the videos. I couldn't believe it. So you gotta be freaking kidding me. And it wasn't a widespread event. This storm that was like a popcorn machine producing golf ball size hail, just stayed over Guadalajara for a while, like several hours it hailed. That's some scary crap. That's like Sodom and Gomorrah crap, Serious. And I'm looking at that, and I'm really thinking, what the hell did you do, Guadalajara? Seriously, what did you do? Because that's some scary stuff. Right, Sheila? Yeah, and it really wasn't widespread news either. It was a quick blip and gone, man. They did not want you to know what's going on. Not want to share that information with you. But they felt like they were obligated to because, they're the news. They sure didn't report on it very long. I've heard about hailstones in Canada. I was thinking it was Quebec. I could be wrong. But I was thinking that Quebec got hammered really, really bad with hail here recently. And that's unusual. Isn't that unusual? It's unusual to me. It seems very unusual. I'll say that. It seems very unusual. I don't know. So when there's a significant storm, I used to hunt the tornadoes, I was never a trained spotter, and you should never, ever, ever, ever go looking for a tornado, ever. It's not the smart thing to do. I'm not saying I'm always the smartest person. I'm the adventurous one. Don't necessarily think first, but yeah, because you don't want to catch up with one unless you've had training and unless you're with a group of people who also know what the heck they're doing. Because you don't want to, and then you need to know first aid. Because if you're going to follow a tornado, you're going to run into a path of destruction. That's going to include people or animals. And so you should at least also know first aid so that you can offer some help if you're going to go play in the fire. I know basic first aid. I'm only saying these things because I was the dumbass who was chasing around the tornadoes, smoking one or drinking a beer while I was doing it. So, but the thing is that the weather has changed from when I was young, and you could see, because, Cleveland, Missouri, Lewisburg, Kansas are 5 miles, 10 miles from each other, straight across, divided in half directly down the middle by the state line. And in this part of the country, when you go across state line, it just gets flat. It's all of a sudden flattens out, and you can see forever. And so, I'll have to prove that to you sometime. You'll be amazed. So, we could see those storms coming. We didn't have radar. We had the weather report, but we really didn't have any significant, reliable radar systems. But they could tell by pressures and gauges and things like that what the weather was going to do. So they had different weather stations set up all over. That's how they predicted the weather back then. Anyway, the storm was coming, and you could hear it. You could hear it coming. It was so stinking loud. And I don't know. You know, and they say it sounds like a freight train, and it really, really does. But more like 10 freight trains, I think. Because this was a big one. This is back before they had like EF3 or 2 or 5 or 10. But anyway, it got to the edge of town literally. And then boop, lifted up, went on its merry way. Nothing happened. And that always intrigued me from that day forward. And I thought all tornadoes do that. No. So I wanted to see one coming. Nothing bad ever happened. But just don't do stupid stuff unless you're going to have training for it. Because they do have stupid stuff training. They really do. Storm spotter training. Stupid stuff. Go get trained. Ah, crud. All right, let me quit talking so much here. I'm just rambling. I did not ground well this morning. Actually, I got up too late and I took a shower and I tried to ground in the shower, but that didn't work out. All right. Wow. I pulled 3 cards. I didn't even know it. So we're going to read all 3 of these. My face is sore this morning. See how red it is? It is so sore. And I don't know why it goes through bouts like that. But my diet. Talk about my diet. It's hard to do a liquid diet for 3 days, much less 7. Morning, Julie Cole. And so I've been sticking with as much as I possibly can, though I had a fish sandwich from McDonald's yesterday, and it was really awful. But the yeast is what I'm finding out in my own body, because I'm telling you, man, I'm paying attention to everything my body does right now. And the yeast right now is really producing, it's part of the reason that I produce so much crap here. Because I noticed when I went 3 or 4 days with no yeast whatsoever, I had yeast in nothing. I didn't have that congestion. It really went away. So, paying attention, still working with it. Julie Cole Guthrie, how was your reading yesterday? Honestly, just tell me. Because I was just amazed. I mean, if you didn't notice, I was like, you're getting all that from a tea glass? And then I'm peeking in her tea glass and I'm going, my God, I see that shit too. That's cool. So, what did you think about? And you don't have to, I'm not begging for compliments. I'm really not. But I was so stinking impressed with how Kim did those tea readings. I was really impressed. All right. Postcards from Spirit, Colette Baron Reed. Get yours today. Amazon. ColetteBaronReed.com. Pinterest. Freaking eBay. Go find them. Pardon me. So sorry about that. If you allow your awareness to settle in, you'll hear us whispering sweetness and encouragement to you. You will know the truth of things that cannot be discerned through the material world. The receiver for this kind of essential knowing is your intuition, which is not your 6th sense, but your first, your primary. The navigational system of your soul. You're entering the age of consciousness. It's time to accept that the paranormal is normal. Human beings are multisensory, multidimensional beings. Spirit infuses all things, and your soul's job is to discover those essential truths here on earth where we all agreed to play. Today, trust your spidey senses. Read between the lines. Tune in to the stories behind the stories, and your world will show you miracles. Fear not, for right here, and Spirit loves you. Trust the invisible. One of my very favorite cards. One of my very favorite cards. truly we are entering the age of consciousness and conscious reasoning and conscious understanding. You understand? We do these things consciously, knowing exactly what we're doing with no fault, you know? When we really think something through, consider all the ramifications, and then do it anyway, whether it's good or bad, you know, because I don't like to insinuate that everything is bad that we do, because we do some really good and beautiful and wondrous things. And so when we decide against all odds to go ahead and do what we're called to do, everything falls into place, you know. But it's being willing to take that chance, and break out of the box and stand by whatever it is that we create, you know, whether it's chaos or magic. Julie said she wanted to share. I'm glad I shared the feed. Mike Cooling wouldn't have seen it, and was exactly what he needed to hear. Thank you so much, Julie. You know what? That's what it's all about. Every day here for me, that's what it's all about. You know, I may just be BSing with you. We just may be sitting here having a good time laughing and talking, and every now and then Spirit will slip in and say something profound. Say something that is more than exactly what someone needs to hear, but it touches their soul, and then it changes their life, you know. And that happens all the time. But it may not be you. It may be the person that's standing behind you, or the one 3 doors down, or across the pond. And that's how we that's how we connect. That's how we communicate and stay in touch. Joe said, missed the reading, have to rewatch. Was getting double talk from the live, so I had to shut the phone off and come back in. Well, that's weird. That's weird, getting double talk from the live, because we only had one phone going. We weren't doing two. I had forgotten, because you said my reading was first, but they kept nagging me to share. That's so cool. So cool. And Mike Cooley's reading was really just kind of, he just happened to be in the right place at the right time. He really did, because we had 4 people, and Julie was one of them, that had 4 people each, so there were 8 people who were watching Lunch Break with Luna last week and watching her do card readings when she suggested that she wanted to do some tea readings. And Julie was one of the first people to say, hey, I want one. So she just happened to get a tea reading, and then I just happened to be there with Luna doing the tea reading. So, and as again, just happened to give Julie her reading. Actually, I worked it out that way. When I saw Julie's, like, I want to do Julie's. Right? The universe does know what they're doing. Do you remember how I talk about the cell phone, the broken cell phone, and you need a new one? That's an example of the broken cell phone. You know, Mike had a broken cell phone, and he needed to get it fixed. So his spirit guides went out on a search to see who could fix what was going on, or who could offer the solution to what was going on, and pulled all sorts of strings, because they had to get Julie to share the video of the tea leaf readings. That was one string. They had to have a few people not be able to attend the tea leaf readings, not be able to attend the live yesterday, so that Mike could have an opportunity to get a reading. Pulled those strings. Luna, who is the gifted tea leaf reader, I'm not kidding, I'm so impressed by that, right? And something that he really, really needed. And that is truly, truly how our spirit guides work in our lives every single day. We just got blessed right now to see it happen. Right? Right? Because there were a lot of people. There were a lot of people on there who was like, hey, me, mine, You remember that? Finding Nemo. The pelicans, mine. And that's what all those people were jumping around like, and to do a tea leaf reading, it's a little bit of involvement there. You got to intuitively choose the teas that are going to bring about the message, help metaphysically bring out those energies to receive the messages long distance to be able to give a reading. There's just every day, our spirit guides are working in the background like that for us. I'm so honored. I'm really, really blessed to have been able to witness how the spirit guides work, Julie. I really am. Because Mike lives over in the United Kingdom, doesn't he? Does he live in the United Kingdom or does he live somewhere else? You know what, Julie? It does me too. Joe. So glad to see you, love. She said, I miss a lot of your lives, but seem to get to see the ones I need. I'm so glad about that. I really am. Yeah, because spirit, there are days, honestly, today I slept until 7:15. Didn't really want to get it. My alarm went off, but I'm like, man, I don't have my makeup right now. Who takes an entire makeup bag to the lake? And I know what my thinking process was. My thinking process was, I will go through my makeup while I'm at the lake, and that way I can just leave only what I want to down here. Fortunately, I left the entire bag, and I don't feel like buying more makeup. I just don't. I could go to the dollar store or the Dollar General and pick up cheap makeup, but dadgummit, I don't want to spend any more makeup on stuff that I really don't like to begin with. Right. That's what I see too. It's so funny. It's like a huddle. Hey, come on. All right, you can go do this. Get to work on it. Then doing a little social network and then little spidey sense stuff going on, connecting up with other spirit guides. Joe says, I'm always working 24/7 helping others, but then again, that's my job and it makes me happy. And see, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I was saying. If you are in... great minds thinking alike. Joe, you just said exactly what Spirit is trying to get out there. That when you're doing the job that you agreed to do, the part that you agreed to play in this life, doesn't matter what it is, you have a part to play. You have a job to do before you can go back home. And if you don't get it done before you go back home, you'll probably have to come back and do it again. Or maybe you get to go back and refine it and say, look, man, you're right. That shit was hard. That was a lot harder than what I thought it was going to be. So can we refine this a little bit and come back and do it again? Because I truly believe that in spirit we are more aware of life and the connection that we all have to it. Our connection to the life energies of Earth. All living things, the plants, the trees, the animals in the sea, the fish, animals of every single living thing has an energy connection one to the other, and we are connected integratedly. I don't know the words this morning. My tongue is tied. because there's so much here stuck, and it's just coming out in confusion. And that's the way it is sometimes. Joe said, for real, it's hard. It is hard. It is hard. Sometimes what we write as our master plan for the life that we want to live is too much for us. But it's okay. You know, we may not get to rewrite it here in the physical, but we'll get to rewrite it. And if we really want the doors to open to create other possibilities, you know, you can talk to Spirit and say, hey, really not what I want to do. Really not what I want to do. So what else can I do? How else can I achieve my ultimate goal in this life? How else can I do it? Is there another way? I'm sure there's a lot more to it than that. I'm sure there's a lot more to it than that. Let's pull a card. My ramble is on this morning. I'm holding my Super 7. This is just a really beautiful Super 7. It really is. It's got a lot of deep color to it. A lot of deep, deep, deep purple. And I love the point on it. But this little puka right here, this little divot, is perfect for resting my thumb in. So when my thumb really starts hurting, this seems to be my bandage. I don't know, guys. I still feel that wheel of change turning. Do you? And it doesn't feel like the wheel is turning for bad, you know. It just feels like it's turning again. And when the wheels turn in my life, it's always big change. Big, like completely different life kind of change. So I get a little nervous sometimes about that because I know it's coming. I feel it so strongly. And I know that so many of you do too. So, I don't know. Maybe we need to figure out a meditation that we can do to at least come to a sense of balance in regards to this change. Oh. Dearest you. Oh, this is a tough one. Excuse me. I gotta have more light. Dearest you, pump up the music, bang the drums, get up and start that hustle towards your goals and dreams. Love this card. There are times to be still, but this is not one of them. Now is the time to make that first move. Say yes to life, pick up the phone, make that decision, and take that one step towards the gods or us. Expect a cascade of changes, good news, and opportunities to show up as if by magic. Well, we really know that it's Spirit and all of us. Are you ready for this, Joe? Moving things around for your benefit. The point is, we're saying go for it. Take positive action towards your dreams. Even if the outcome isn't an exact fit for your agenda, it will all be orchestrated by Spirit and arrive in divine appropriate timing. Don't you just love how it all works out? We love you so, so much. Bink. So funny, so funny. Joey must be really connected this morning, huh? What do you think? Right there. Oh man, I've got a lot of work to do, but none of it begins until I have to go down to Cleveland this morning, go down to the hometown and get the water turned on or get the water bill whatever, something done with that so that we can keep the utilities on at the little house while we start making repairs on it. We've got a tree that's got to come down. This house I inherited from my dad. And he's such a loving man, and I do love him so much for offering me this house. It was his rental house, which he really didn't like, so he didn't really keep it up too much. I'm finding. So it needs a new roof. It needs, hi Keena, welcome. Needs a new roof. It needs a tree taken out. Really needs to have a fence. It needs to have a fence built. I think it would rent a lot easier, and I would feel better if people had pets if it was a fenced-in yard anyway. Oh, and heating and AC is 40 years old. Might think about getting another one of those soon. So, plus it needs to be sided. It needs to be updated. It needs a lot. Joe says, we actually share the same first name. Remember, had to change the middle name because of a stalker. That's exactly right, Joe. That's exactly right. And I want you to know that my mother was called Joe all her life until she married her husband, Kenny. And he insisted that she be called Sandy because her name is Sandra. But he didn't pronounce Sandra well, so he made her be called Sandy, which didn't fit Mom at all. So after he crossed over, she immediately went back to Joe. But yeah, she was Joe. She was nicknamed after her dad, Bobby Joe. And that was his name, Bobby Joe. Bobby Joe Young. So it tickled me when I saw your name up there as Joe. You just reminded me of my mom. So we do have a lot in common. That's cool. That's pretty neat. Well, so anyway, the work on the house is going to start very, very soon. I mean, very soon, because that roof has got to be taken care of. It's a bad, bad disaster area waiting to happen. And, you know, we tossed a lot of coins in the air on this one. I mean, it was a question of, will it be cheaper to tear it down and start again? Oh, that's a pretty name. I love it. Christy Joe, that's nice. Why do you go by Christy May? I just gotta ask. I love Christy Joe. Anyway, I don't know what I was saying. I forgot. That really threw me off base, Christy May. Totally forgot what I was talking about because I saw your name Christy May and you're like, well, actually, my name's Christy Joe. That tickles me for some reason. I don't know why. All right, I'm going to get off of here. I got to run down south. Wishing you guys a beautiful day. Really, truly wishing you a beautiful day. And always wishing you more in everything you do. So go take care of yourself today. Did you do anything spectacular this week? Nobody ever tells me. Nobody ever says, hey, sis, look what I did. Post up a picture. I made someone smile today, a total stranger. Look what I did. You guys never tell me. When I say go do something special for yourselves, I really mean it. Oh, I see, Christy. I love that. That's nice. Stick with it then. So let me know. Just post up. Share it with me. Because you guys really are my friends. And I want to know what makes you happy. I want to know what makes you smile. Excuse me, I got the hiccups. Nice. Go have coffee with Mama Joe. I'm going to get off here, go down south with my hubs, maybe take the dogs so they can have a nice ride. Wish you all peace. And I wish you all would post up what you do. Love to you all. When you give without cause, it comes back to you so many ways. This is interesting. I don't have to turn the stream off. I do more stuff just touching it, and I don't even know what it is. I don't know how I did that. I lost a dock, and controls, chat, stats. Anyway, the dock that I lost is the one that turns it off and on. You guys all have a blessed day. I'm serious. I hope you have a beautiful day. Controls. I don't know. There it is. I feel pretty good. I'm getting a lot better whenever I accidentally push a button and I jack something up. I'm getting a lot better about fixing it. And in this particular case, I couldn't stop streaming until I found that. so thank you, God. You guys, I love you all too. Have a beautiful day. I'm out of here.